Gyarados, I choose you! You'll want some red clay, some salmon colored clay, some orange clay, a light green colored clay, some white clay, and some translucent clay. I've just got Sculpey here, and what I want to do is mix them all together. This gives them that realistic kind of effect when you bake them. I've also got a little board here with some 3D printed chopsticks, a bowl, and guess what? It looks like a Pokemon bowl. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the most signature part of the dish, and that's Gyarados' head. So you'll just want to grab some of your red translucent mixed clay and roll it into a ball. When you're happy with the size, just start massaging the clay into the shape of his head. Don't forget to use your reference photos, folks. And I'm just continuing to add pieces of clay to get the jaw and the mouth line correct. Now I'm just coming in with a couple of little sausages, which I'll be popping up across the side of his head, since he has these strange little bony bits. And I'm just using one of my dental pick tools here to smooth the joints. And when you're pretty happy with what you've done, you can move on to the next step, which is giving him those big juicy lips. So just roll out a piece of white mixed with translucent into a little thin sausage and just place it around the outside edge of his mouth. Don't forget to give him little breathers. I'm just using my dental tool for that. And a nice big tongue. Now I'm just going to make the little fins that go underneath the back of his jaw. So once again, you're going to want your white and translucent mix and some of your red. Just roll out some snakes and then get some little fins going. When you're happy with the little pattern that you've made for your fins, just smooth out the edges and add some indentations and attach it to the red piece. And I've got some magenta coloured souffle here, which we'll just be using for his unusual little crown piece. Sorry guys, I didn't include that colour in the materials list. Whoops. And I'm just pinching it out into this weird triangular shape and spending a long time doing it, to be honest. I think I had to restart a couple of times. And on to the next part. Because this unfortunately unlucky Gyarados has ended up as sushi on a platter, I want to give him that dazed look that Pokemon have when they lose a battle. So I'm giving him the swirly eye design, attaching the fins to the head, and giving him his little whiskers. And you'll want to pop that in the oven and bake it at the temperature written on the instructions on your clay. For the next part, we're just making a continuation of his neck piece. So once again, you want your red clay. Since I didn't mix enough up, I cheated and put some translucent clay in the middle as a bowl and then shaped the red clay around it. Another signature part of this crazy Pokemon are the little spines that go down his back. So don't forget to include one of those. We're just using the same clay that we used on his fins. And finally, we can make a start on the sushi. So for this, I'm doing what I did with the second part of the body, and I am just using some translucent clay as sort of like a junk filler for in between each piece of sushi, and then wrapping it in the white / translucent mix. When you place the white / translucent mix on, make sure you put it on nice and thick, giving us plenty of room to make it nice and ricey later on. Once those are all done and you've got your Gyarados out of the oven, you can start making the ingredients that will go inside your sushi. Now, I have got a wonderful little bag of sliced up canes here from previous projects and from off of Amazon, I believe. I'll try and pop some links below in the description. And I'm just going to use a mix of those and my own little creations to create the ingredients for inside the rice sushis. So I'm making some little fish eggs here. I've just got a orange translucent mix once again, and just rolling them into little balls. Next, I'm going to make a slice of avocado. So I'm just randomly cubing up this clay so it looks like it's a stick of avocado going through the roll. And most importantly, we're going to make this a fish-based sushi. So I'm adding in some slices of salmon here. Now for the fun part, guys, we get to assemble them. So you'll want to assemble them all so they look kind of similar. So assuming it was one big roll and it was cut up, they're all in the same place. So just do your first one and then try and replicate it for all the other pieces. I've got here a texture roller, which I made in a previous video, and I'm just using that to make the rice look nice and ricey. It's a really quick, super easy method. And finally, you're gonna wanna put a slab of, well, I can't really say it's salmon because it's a piece of Gyarados. So a slice of Gyarados on the top of each one of your sushi rolls. And I just styled it up like it was a piece of salmon. So I copied the same technique that I did with the smaller pieces and put a translucent piece of white clay on top in lines, and then came over with my ball tool to texture it up. For the last part, you're gonna want to give him a tail. Now this is probably not gonna be edible, but it's a nice little garnish on our plate. So sticking with the same red colors we used on the head and the same colors that we used for the fins, we just assemble the tail like so. Add a little texture and voila! Now you're going to want to put everything in the oven, but first just get yourself a little bit of green pastel chalk and dust those avocados so they look a little bit more realistic. And onto the glam shots. I just want to give a shout out to my beloved patron members. If you guys are interested in getting early access to my shop updates or any other behind the scenes content, be sure to head over and check it out. I'll catch you in the next one.